Hi guys, it's Tiffany here. Today we're here with my sister to learn how to prep and preserve what we grow. If you've seen our previous videos, you know we have a green thumb. Food Forest did great this year, but what did we do with all that produce? We had to give it to my sister, who's been prepping and preserving for years. Now that we know how to grow, let's take the next step and learn how to preserve it. Today we're learning how to can. We've washed our hands, pulled our hair back, and sanitized our jars and equipment. Let's go over our equipment.
So we have washed our lids. The lids are only a one-time use. We wash them in soapy water and they're here ready to use. The rings can be reused, but you always want to inspect them for dents, corrosion, anything that would stop your jar from sealing. So we've got our salsa simmering, and we blanched and peeled the tomatoes that my green thumb sister grew. When you make fresh salsa, you can just chop the tomatoes and refrigerate it and serve it. But for canning, we blanch and peel them because in the canning process, the peeling can actually leave a bitter aftertaste.
Good to know.
So we take the peeling off, and you can use whatever salsa recipe you want. This is the one my family likes, and these will be Christmas gifts for my uncle because he apparently loves my salsa. He's threatening to put it on ice cream. I don't recommend that. However, so we're just doing a small batch today. Probably be about 12 jars. We'll see what we get. We've got our peppers and spices and everything. This is a mild salsa this time because that's what Uncle likes. And then we're using our graniteware water bath canner, which is safe for anything with a high acidity. We've pre-warmed our water so we don't put jars in cold water that will shock them and possibly cause a fracture. And so we've got our water bath canner ready to go. The jars are in my dishwasher on sanitize mode, and the goal is hot jars, hot product into a hot canner. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start getting the jars out of the dishwasher, and I'll show you how to safely load the jars. Okay, so we've got our salsa. It's warm. It smells so good. We're going to go into the jars and try not to drip it everywhere. I don't recommend wearing white when you're doing anything tomato based because you'll splatter and make a mess.
Every time.
I've got my butcher block countertop protected with a towel because I do have a tendency to make a mess and tomatoes stain. Let's see, I've got that one too full, but we can fix that. So for salsa and pint jars, you want to leave about a ½ inch of headspace, which is the void between the top of the product and the top of the jar. And I can see I overfilled at least one of these, but we can adjust that. Because I put too much. So we're just going to take a little bit out of here. If I wasn't on camera, I'd just eat it. Just kidding. Just put a little too much.
I tried it. It is really good.
I've been, I don't know, probably over 10 years I've been perfecting the salsa recipe, but everybody seems to like it. So we want to debubble the jars. We don't want any air pockets that could cause our jars not to seal. And you can use, I've got this debubbler that came with my canning kit, but if you don't have one, a wooden spoon, something not metal, silicone, wooden spoon, just to get any air pockets out. And then we want some sort of clean, lint free. I just use these nice paper towels that don't get a bunch of lint on everything, but if you use a paper towel brand that is linty, I recommend a microfiber towel or a lint-free kitchen towel. And we just don't want any debris that would stop our jar from making a seal. So I made a mess. So we're just gonna clean the lids, and I just wipe them until I don't get anything on the paper towel.
Nice.
So we just want it to be nice and clean. And then, dump that one in. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna take our lids. I'm gonna go on the top of the jars. And we're gonna put, now the rings, you just want finger tight. So finger tight, you don't want to rail on it.
All right.
Because you want a little bit of the air to escape in the canning process so that it will seal.
Perfect.
So we're gonna go on with our lids. So I think we'll get about 12 jars out of what we're doing today. So I'll refill the rest and then we'll come back to you when we're ready to go in the canner. Okay, so we've got all of our salsa in jars. My canner holds 12. If you do not have a canner large enough to hold what you've made, then you just fill it until it's full, and then you just do a second round if that's what you need to do. That one's trying to be tippy. We just want them to be balanced on the rack. That water's a little warm, which it's supposed to be. And I have warmed water in my little kettle, and we want at least an inch to an inch and a half, if not 2 inches above our jars, so that we'll lose some volume of water while it's boiling. So we want it to be, for a water bath, you want it to be over the top of the jars by at least an inch. And you don't want to add cold water or you'll shock the jars. And if the water gets too hot, you can use your jar grabber, but I'm pretty heat tolerant, so I just used my hand. So we're gonna go on with the lid. We're gonna turn the burner on high, and we're gonna wait for it to come to a full rolling boil, and we'll be back with you in a bit. Okay, so our salsa is reaching a full rolling boil. You wanna see all those bubbles coming, and once the full rolling boil is reached, we're gonna start our timer for 15 minutes. At our elevation, at almost 3,000 feet, we want 15 minutes. Sea level can do 10, and if you're over 3,000 feet, you'll want to adjust your time upwards of 20 minutes for safe canning. And so we'll be back in 15 minutes when our jars are finished processing. Okay, welcome back. It's been 15 minutes and our jars are done processing. They're still very hot, of course. So we're going to use our jar lifter to pull these out, and we're going to set them on a clean kitchen towel. I've got hot pads underneath because they are very hot, and we're going to let them sit undisturbed for between 12 to 24 hours until they're completely cooled. But we should start hearing some popping noises of those jars sealing as we go. Get these all out of here. You just want them to be basically level. Let's see, while I'm taking these out, anything with a high acid content, pickles, the dilly beans. What am I forgetting?
The apples.
Oh, you can do applesauce, apple butter, in a water bath. Low acid foods will have to be pressure canned. So stay tuned for more videos in the future and let us know what you would like to learn to can. And we can do some extra recipes and tell us what you're interested in learning, and we will do that. I'm trying to keep these level. You hear that? That was one popping. So I'm going to be quiet for just a minute, see if we can hear any more. It's cooking. I'm sure as I start talking, there we go. So that sound is that popping sound that tells us our jars are sealing, which is super gratifying because it means we did it correctly. Some of these will take up to 5-6 hours to seal. It just depends on where they were in the canner, on the burner, on the rack. And then in about tomorrow morning, we'll make sure they've all sealed. If you push on the top of the jar, which I'm not going to do right now because they're not sealed, if it indents, it's not sealed. You need to refrigerate it and eat it. Or you can reprocess it if it's something that's not going to get squishy if it goes in the canner for a second round. And then in the morning, we'll label them with the contents, our date. If you think you're going to remember what you canned, you won't, or when. So we always want to label them. You can either write on the top of the lid, or you can use little labels that stick on the jar, and we'll put mild salsa with the date that we canned it, and that way we'll know it's a shelf stable for at least 18 months if stored in a cool, dry place away from sunlight. It can last for several years, but it won't last that long in my house because we'll eat it. Be sure to like and subscribe and come back to us for more videos coming soon.